Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. I am officially bringing you my first ever hot take, like fresh off the fucking stove, okay? This is probably the hottest take I'm ever gonna have on this channel. I'm just letting you know that now, okay? And I thought long and hard about this before I did it, and I am actually worried about uploading this video because of how south it could go, but I'm bringing this up because I feel like if I don't say it and it happens, I'm gonna feel like, wow, I should have made that fucking video. So this is why I'm making it. That's the whole reason I'm making this video. It's the whole reason it exists. And in hindsight, it makes a lot of sense. Now, I want to say this, okay? This trade is not for this year, okay? The fruits of this trade would come the following year, okay? Not this year. So I just want to preface that. So I've been looking at the Los Angeles Lakers roster, and I was like, what the fuck can they do to make this roster better, right? Like, what can the Lakers do to make their roster better? And the only guy on their roster that they really got to move if they really want to free up cap space is Russell Westbrook. And so long as Russell Westbrook is on the Lakers, nobody's looking at the Lakers as like a super amazing contender, playoff threat, whatever. Okay, like teams are looking at the Lakers right now saying they will be fucking lucky to make the playoffs. And I look at their roster, and they are currently 4 games below 500. Yes, they're playing better recently. Anthony Davis is playing better, but they're still not a contender. I don't care what anybody says. I understand they have LeBron, they have Anthony Davis. Russell Westbrook's been playing better off the bench, but they're still not a contender, okay? They're just not, okay? And so long as they still have Russell Westbrook, they will not be, okay? Because they don't have the cap space to sign anybody. But there's one trade that could strap them for cash and still make them a contender. And that is if they trade Russell Westbrook to the Los Angeles Clippers for Kawhi Leonard. Now, I know what you're thinking already, okay? Like, dislike, unsub, fucking report, say something bad about his mother in the comments section, block him, and get on with my day. I understand that, okay? But let me explain this to you. The Lakers and the Clippers are two teams in two completely different situations, okay? Let's start with the Lakers, okay? The Lakers are currently 4 games below 500, and honestly, by the time that the February 9th trade deadline rolls around, I would be surprised if they're at 500 or above 500. Like, I honestly think it'd take a fucking miracle for it to happen. But they're a team that will probably be 10 to 12 games below 500 by the time the February 9th trade deadline gets here because of just how tough their January schedule is. I mean, they're not playing a lot of bad teams in January. They're playing mostly playoff teams. And even the Sacramento Kings are no longer like a walk in the park team. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Sacramento Kings now have the second best offense in the NBA. So I look at this and I think to myself, the Lakers might as well just mail it in on this season. They might as well. I mean, they're not going to get anything super amazing for Westbrook at the deadline that changes the outlook of the season, even if they do this trade. So now I think to myself, what if the Lakers traded Russell Westbrook for Kawhi Leonard? Because the Clippers are now in a situation where they're paying Kawhi Leonard $40+ million a year for a guy who's only capable of playing during the playoffs. And at least if the Clippers trade Kawhi Leonard to the Lakers for Russell Westbrook, yeah, the Lakers might have to include a 2028 or 2029 first-round pick, maybe even a 2027, I don't know. Like, it would have to be one of those picks. It won't be the 2026 one. It would probably be the 2027 through 2029, somewhere in that ballpark. Then the Clippers would maybe do it, right? And the reason for that is because the Clippers would then free themselves up for 2024 and 2024 free agency. And the reason I say that is because they're still a competitive team. Like, the Clippers do not need Kawhi Leonard to make the playoffs. They just don't. They're that competitive. And they've got guys on expiring deals I'm sure they would like to bring back. Reggie Jackson's 32. They could bring him back on a 2-year deal if they do this trade. Same thing with if they trade Norman Powell for a guy like Karis LeVert, they could extend Karis LeVert. Like, you could let Russell Westbrook go. Yeah, you pay him $47 million to just say goodbye. But they're a team that, once they do this, like, they'll still be a competitive team. They'll still be a competitive team the following year. But it's that year in free agency that they're really going to need to get a guy, and there's a lot of guys in free agency that are unrestricted free agents. I'm talking DeMar DeRozan, James Harden, Chris Middleton, DeJounte Murray, Domantas Sabonis, Pascal Siakam. Like, the 2024 free agency class is fucking huge. Okay, like the Clippers, if they can keep this core together and just get rid of Kawhi's contract, they will get somebody, whether it's Pascal Siakam, DeJounte Murray, somebody. Okay, DeMar DeRozan, I don't know who, but they will be able to get somebody. They will have the cap space to offer somebody and still be a competitive team. Now, the Lakers, on the other hand, you might ask yourself, like, okay, if they get Kawhi's making $42 million, Russell Westbrook's making $47 million, how does that help them? Well, I'm glad you asked, because the fact of the matter is, nobody's going to the Lakers because they're not a championship contending team. They're just not. They're barely a playoff team, if that. When you add Kawhi Leonard to that, suddenly they look like a championship contender again, no? And a guy like Kyrie Irving is going to be a free agent this offseason. And I don't care who you are. If you're the Lakers and you have Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis on your team, you're going to be able to get anybody you want on a veteran minimum deal. People will be wanting to go play for the Lakers, okay? And then I think to myself, Kyrie Irving's a free agent this offseason. LeBron has been kind of hinting that he would love a Kyrie Irving for Russell Westbrook swap, but we know that's not going to happen. And teams already don't want to trade for Kyrie Irving. They just don't. And I think to myself, if LeBron wants Kyrie Irving's probably going to go. And I think to myself, this particular offseason, it's just different offseason moves for both teams. This offseason, if they have Kawhi Leonard on their roster come this offseason, this upcoming offseason, then they're going to be able to get Kyrie Irving. Then you look at their starting five, it's going to be Kyrie Irving, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. And you get to send LeBron home on a very nice farewell tour. And on top of it, like I said, if you're the Lakers and your lineup is that stacked, you'll be able to get anybody you want on a vet minimum deal because they will want to play in LA. Like, LA is already a huge free agent destination, and on top of it, now that you have a potential roster of Kyrie Irving, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron, and Anthony Davis, you can't tell me that they won't attract free agents. Like, you just can't. Like, right now, they can't attract free agents because everyone's like, okay, LeBron's 37, AD is AD. Like right now, people aren't going there because they need Anthony Davis to backpack them to the playoffs. But you bring in Kawhi, let him sit the whole year. Suddenly, next year, maybe Kawhi plays a full season. Maybe he plays 65 plus games for you. And maybe, LeBron is still going to be used sparingly. You know what I'm saying? But at least if you give Kawhi that full year rest, like you trade for him this year and just let him sit and just mail it in this season, next year, you could come back with Kyrie Irving, Kawhi, LeBron, and Anthony Davis. So, and you can't tell me that won't be not only a fun team to play for, but a fun team to watch. So, I don't know, man. We'll have to wait and see. But I just think to myself, and not only that, but it really gives Kawhi Leonard a chance to heal. Like, because the Lakers are not a team that's really going anywhere. I just worry that, if they were to do this trade, the only way that this trade I think really goes awry is if the Lakers trade for Kawhi Leonard and then try to play him like immediately. They try to make him play back-to-backs. They try to, because that's how they would fuck this up. And honestly, Rob Pelinka's done a pretty good job at fucking things up, so I'm not really sure how well that would go. But it's just an idea. You know what I'm saying? It's just something that I thought, the Lakers need to remain competitive, and also the Clippers need to get off the Kawhi contract if they can. And when you think about it, like, both teams really wouldn't be fucked for as long as people think. That's pretty much where I'm at with this. But it really depends on if the teams trade for these players and then do the right moves. So I don't know, man. That's just something I thought of, and I know it's an incredibly wild take, but I look at it, and from both teams, I'm just kind of like, both teams need this to happen in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, they kind of need each other here. And, I just think to myself, like, this makes a lot of sense for both teams. It's like, you instead of paying Kawhi, if you're the Clippers, instead of paying Kawhi $42 million over the next 3 years, if he picks up his player option for at least the next 2 years, you can get off that contract, get Westbrook, dump the salary cap, and then pick anybody in this free agency class or next year's free agency class. And if you're the Lakers, you have a roster that's incredibly attractive to every player in free agency. So, suddenly you're not scraping at the table for like Patrick Beverley and Lonnie Walker and Juan Toscano Anderson, you know what I'm saying? And Dwight Howards of the world. Like, suddenly you're a team that it's like, it doesn't matter who the fuck you are. It's like, they're going to want to go there, So, I don't know, man. That's just an idea I had. I know it's batshit crazy and it sounds like some, basketball fantasy draft wet dream, but that's just something that I think could potentially happen. I just think to myself, like, that makes a lot of sense for both teams because it would work out in the end, I think. Like, you can't tell me in 2024 that if the Clippers keep this roster together and still have Paul George, still have Reggie Jackson, so on and so forth, and I don't think they're guys that are going to just become bad players immediately. They're a team that's like still competitive over the next 2 years, even without Kawhi. And then in 2024, you bring in a Pascal Siakam, you bring in a DeJounte Murray, you bring in a Chris Middleton, perhaps. It's just the idea. It's like a lot of these guys are going to be unrestricted free agents, and it's Sabonis is going to be an unrestricted free agent. Like, there's so many guys in the class of 24 offseason that are just going to be free agents that like. Losing Kawhi isn't the loss that they're going to think it is. DeMar DeRozan, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can get somebody. I don't know who that somebody's going to be, but you can get somebody. So, tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. Like, helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. And I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.